Hey, happy Thursday. This is the April 2nd, the day after April's Fool's Day. So we're going to talk about Converse Statements. That's what I said at our Zoom meeting yesterday. And so if you got your book out or get your book out on page 310, the first 4 questions on there have to deal with this Converse statement, okay? So a Converse statement is when you have an if-then statement, which all of these 4 questions have. Well, so if you look at number 1, it says, if you are a soccer player, then you are an athlete. Okay, the Converse statement means that, well, if that's right, then the opposite would also be true. And so what we have to do in those situations, let's start with that one. Let's write that one up on the board. If you are a soccer player, then you are an athlete. Okay? Now, what they want you to do is to do this. You have to do 2 things. First, you write a Converse statement, which means you take the part that says then and you put it in the if. And you take the part that says if and you put it in the then. So on number 1, we would take you are an athlete and put that in the front. So then it would say if you are an athlete, then you are a soccer player. Now, that's the first part. You write a Converse statement for each one, taking the then and putting it in the if part, taking the if part and putting it in the then part. The second part of that is to say, is this statement, the Converse statement, always true? And so you can say, yes, it's always true, or false, it's not. Let's look at the one we have. It started off, if you are a soccer player, then you are an athlete. And that's true. All soccer players are assumably an athlete. But when we look at the Converse statement, it says, if you are an athlete, then you are a soccer player. That one actually is false. Because there are athletes that are a part of a whole bunch of different other sports than soccer. Okay, so the second part, when you turn it around, the then statement has to go along with the if statement. All right? So when you go to do these, you look at it and you say, if you are this, then you are that. And then when you flip it around, is the Converse statement also true? Okay? The first statement is typically true. If we do the Converse statement, is that true also? Let's look at number 2 and do that one. Also, do that one. Okay? So it one says, if a number is negative, then it is less than 0. Okay? That's the if-then statement. Now let's do the Converse statement of that by taking this part and moving it here, and taking that part and moving it there. So, if a number is 0, or less than 0, let's put it that way, is less than 0, then it is a negative number. I'm abbreviating a little bit there. Okay. The first statement is true. What about the second one? If it's less than 0, is it a negative number always? Yes. So in this situation, We write the converse statement, and then we say it is true, because that makes sense. That's also true. All right, I'm going to let you try to do 3 and 4 on your own, okay? So you're going to have to think about that, all right? One of the last two is true, and the other one is false. I'm not going to tell you which is which. Okay, there's one other part that I want to go over, and then I'm going to end this right here, just so that you know how to do it. All of the other problems that you have to do today, 5 through 22, have to deal with deciding whether or not the triangle is a right angle. So we need to go back through that method. If you recall, you need to take, let's look at just number 5 there, for instance. You need to take your 5 angles, your A plus your B, which is 35, equals your C, okay? So if this number is really a right triangle, then this squared plus this squared equals this squared, okay? Once again, you can use your calculator on this assignment, so it'll help you out a little bit. So 21 times 21 gave me 441. 35 times 35 gave me 1,225. 40 times 40 gave me that should be 1,600. Okay? Because 4 times 4 is 16, and then 2 extra zeros. So then, these two have to add up to equal that. If they don't, then we have a no. In this situation, we have a no, because I can already tell 1 plus 5 isn't going to give me a 0 at the end like it has over here in the ones place. So I can already say no. And so my answer to that would be no. And then I move on to the next one. So let's talk about the ones that may seem a little bit tricky. Let's go down to the ones that are like in 16 to 21. So this one was number 5. Don't forget to do number 5. Let's look at number 16 though, because they give us a square root, and it's like, well, what do we do with that? Okay. Well, the book wants you to assume whenever they have this one as a square root, that's the one that's going to represent C. Okay? So anytime you see the square root part, that's C. So the square root of 17 will equal 6 squared plus 9 squared. That's how I set those up. Okay? Now, I'll show you the trick. Okay? Because 6 times 6, that's 36. 9 times 9, that's 81. When I add 36 plus 81, I get 117. And so in this situation, square root of 117 would equal the square root of 117. So this is a yes. So anytime when you do this 2 parts and this number equals the one under the square root, then yes, this is a right triangle. So we put a yes next to the answer. It's that simple. Number 18, number 20, and number 21 will be like that also. Okay? Now, I did give you one story problem on 22. That one, all you have to do is take your 3 sides and do it just like we have been doing. And that, if you solve it and show your work that you solved it like this here, okay, that's your explanation. You don't have to write a word sentence of why. Your why will be in showing your showing that it does or does not make a right triangle for that sale. Okay, I hope that made sense. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to make this one really short and brief today because I think this is a lot of kind of review of what we've been doing a little bit. Okay? If you have a question or something, give me send me an email and say, hey, listen, I didn't get this or I don't understand it. Okay? All right. I'll get this video up really quickly here, hopefully within the next couple of minutes. So, talk to you later. What do we got coming up tomorrow? Tomorrow, it looks like we have a chapter review. I'll be sending out a PDF file with the chapter review sheet on it, okay? I might do a little short video on reviewing how to do each one of the problems, just so that you have a clue, okay? Have a good day. See you later.